Ladies and gentlemen, it is Saturday, and it is time for court. Welcome to the Weekend Case Review with Lone Wolf Uso. It's the fair this week in St. Joe County, Michigan. That's Centerville, for those of you who don't know. That's where Judge Middleton is. That's where we are all day. Oh yeah, for those of you who haven't figured out, Chalky's live. The chalkboard is live today, ladies and gentlemen. These are facts. Welcome, Barry. Welcome, Katie. Welcome, Marty. Welcome, admin. Welcome, Mom, Rhonda, Jerlay, Nisha. Did I say Bromidicus yet? I'm just going to say Bromidicus because it is a good thing to say. Bromidicus. Tev. No comment. No comment, Tev. Welcome, Tev! Tevildo. Katie. Where's Brecken? Although this is not necessarily Brecken's fault today, that in and of itself is Brecken's fault. You know what that little trill means. That little trill means the show's getting on the road, ladies and gentlemen, and it is Saturday, and I'm your Lone Wolf Usul, and I'm here with a whole slopping full of week of cases from Judge Middleton's court, and they start off kind of mundane and get weirder as we go along. I'm going to warn you guys, at some point in time, we are going to see a gentleman walk into the arraignment cage with no shirt on, and that one's interesting. Yes, sir, it is. So keep an eye out every time you hear the chime today during the show. That means the day has changed. We're starting off on the 15th, going to the 16th, 17th, 18th, all the way to the 19th. So ladies and gentlemen, let's enjoy some Fair Week in St. Joe County with Judge Middleton. It all starts right now.
This is file number 253988SC, Tamarack Community Association, Inc. versus Richard Kipker III. That's you, sir?
Yes, sir.
I do remember you from when you were in school. I remember Mr. Camp from when he was in school a while ago. Anyway, Mr. Kipker, they sued you for unpaid association dues and got a judgment back in June in the amount of $1,020.25. Mr. Camp has done a number of these and recovered thousands of dollars for the association, and he's not done yet because he has a judgment and he wants you to pay on it. So would you please raise your right hand? You both swear or affirm any testimony. Go ahead. Swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Kipker, the ship has sailed. You got sued. You didn't show up and a judgment entered on their behalf. Now he's attempting to collect. Do you have the ability to pay on this debt?
Not immediately. I mean, I'd be more than willing to set up payment plans or give me a couple weeks, and yes.
All right, well, that's what I'm here about. We can set up some sort of payment plan, but you have to pay on it. I wasn't just kidding when I said he's collected thousands of dollars. Probably, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000 worth of unpaid association dues. This isn't overwhelming, $1,020, but can you make some sort of installment payment?
Yes, I can do that.
How much?
I could probably do it in 4.
All
to be
right.
the
Well, how about if
quickest.
we do installment payments of $200 per month?
Okay.
To start October 15th.
And where am I making these payments to?
P.O. Box 231,
Oh, just Tamarack P.O. Box? Okay.
Yep.
Tamarack Association, P.O. Box 231.
Got it.
So I would get a postal money order or certified check. If you can pay more, pay more. But for what it's worth, Mr. Kipker, once Mr. Camp got done, I think the participation rate on people's paying their association dues is getting close to 100%.
I believe it.
There must be several hundred property owners in Tamarack, 240, I think. And they've got overhead, mowing, lights, that sort of thing, which these dues go to pay. So,
I understand.
All right. And how long have you lived there?
13 years.
All right. Well, this will be painful the first time. Thereafter, just pay your dues as they come due. But $200 a month starting October 15th, payable at that post office box. If you can pay more, pay more. If you can't send 200, send 100. But make a payment each month. The total amount is $1,020 and
Just even 1,020 even.
1,025 cents.
25.
Shouldn't there have been a charge for the deputy?
Oh, you had an additional fee for today's hearing, which was Let me see Bruce's bill here. 15. Did you get a bill for service? Yeah, the 15.
I thought it was another $40.
There's 15, and I think there's an additional service fee. The first service fee, here it is, 45.
Yeah.
So there's an additional $60 for his going to the effort of collecting this money.
So 1080 25. Is that what we're deciding on?
Yes.
That's good.
$225 plus $60 costs. 1080 25. All right, Mr. Kipker, this ought to do it. Anyway, as I said, if you want to pay more, you can pay more, but make sure you make a payment each month on the 15th.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're good to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Camp, I don't know if you're at 100%, but you must be close to it. Okay. Well, that'll double your pay from 0 to twice 0.
Yep. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we're back from our lunch and recess. No fair food today. I had a meeting during lunch. We are scheduled for a preliminary examination in 2 cases, 2 co-defendants. Brian O'Neill Haminga, file number is 251759FY. Is that you, sir?
Yes, sir.
You're here with your lawyer, Mr. John Bush.
Yes, sir.
Amy Lynn White, file 251758FY. That's you, ma'am? And we've met. I just talked to you each last week, but I need to identify you for the record. Her file number, if I didn't say it, is 251758. She's represented by Mr. Timothy George. Each case is charged with an additional or identical count of possession of methamphetamine. It's alleged that on August 28th in the village of White Pigeon that each defendant did possess methamphetamine. That is a felony. It's punishable by up to 10 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $15,000. People are represented here by Chief Assistant Prosecuting Joshua Robert and Officer Matthew Hanson from the White Pigeon Police Department is present. We made a record last week in each of your cases. The representation from the prosecutor was that they had agreed to dismiss the felony charge for a plea to a misdemeanor charge of use of methamphetamine. Once the preliminary examination was commenced, that offer would be withdrawn. You confirm that, Mr. Robert?
Yes, we did make that offer of use. I told them it was open until the end of the day last Tuesday. I did not hear anything that they were interested in accepting that plea offer.
Well, that was certainly my understanding in dealing with them. So, Mr. Haminga, you told me at that time you wish to have your preliminary examination. You still wish so today?
So you're saying the offer is still on the table?
I don't know. That's up to the prosecutor. Theoretically, it was withdrawn last Tuesday. Ms. White, I'll ask you the same question. I had the same discussion with you. You wish to have the preliminary examination. Let's talk in a theoretical sense. If the misdemeanor offer were available to you, would you be interested in doing that, or do you just still wish to proceed with your preliminary examination?
I guess it depends if it's still on the table.
And that's up to Mr. Robert.
That's fine. If they both want to enter a plea to use of methamphetamine today, I would allow them to do so.
All right, one of the concerns, I mentioned this last week, is the prosecutor then has an obligation to subpoena witnesses, compel them to drop what they're doing and come to court. I saw Mr. Robert checked with Officer Hanson. He's the only witness, I think, and he seemed to agree to continuing the misdemeanor offer. So let me repeat what that is. What you're charged with is a felony punishable by up to 10 years and imprisonment for up to 10 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $15,000. And it would entail a felony conviction with everything that goes with it. The other side is a misdemeanor offer, which would make the maximum sentence up to 1 year and the maximum fine up to $2,000. I don't know if either of you are eligible for probation under Section 7411. That's a special kind of probation in first offense drug cases that would allow the charge to be removed from your record as a record of conviction if you successfully complete the probation. So if I do accept your pleas, I probably will not do the sentence today because I want to get more information. Do you guys wish to step out and discuss this with your attorneys? Or Mr. Humming, are you ready to make a decision?
Can we step out?
Yeah, sure. Does not appear that either defendant is eligible for probation under Section 7411. They've both done it. As is often the case in these kinds of cases, might be faster to just put on the preliminary examination, but you're willing to give them that consideration, and they should be fortunate for that. All right, we're back, both Mr. Huminga and Ms. White. I did check while you guys were out in the hall. It does not appear that either of you were eligible for 7411 probation. Looks like in the past you've both successfully done it, and you only get that offer once. But we'll certainly look into it. Mr. Bush, what does your client wish to do?
He has signed the advice of rights, and it's his intention to enter a plea to use on the day and date charged.
Ms. White, what's your, Mr. George, what's yours?
She's prepared to enter a plea.
All right. Well, let's talk about this. Mr. Huminga, did anybody threaten you to get you to plead to this charge?
No, sir.
Or promise you anything?
No.
Ms. White, anyone threaten you to get you to plead
No,
to
sir.
this? Or promise you anything?
No, sir.
You've each signed the advice of rights, and I have a little bit of information from the bond information report. Mr. Huminga, were you driving a car in White Pigeon on August 28th?
No.
You were a passenger in the car?
Yes, sir.
All right. And was the car pulled over by Sergeant Hanson?
Yes, sir.
And at that time, previously to that time, had you used some methamphetamine?
Yes.
They found some pipes and tutors and some other things with residue on them. And sometime on or around that time, you had used methamphetamine?
Yeah.
All right. Miss White, same thing. You were driving the car when it was
Yes.
pulled over? You had two dogs in the car?
Yes.
Sounds like quite a chaotic circumstance. At some point, you guys got out of the car. Did you have some, let me ask you, had you at that time frame used some methamphetamine?
Yes.
Very good. All right. I always thought using methamphetamine should be a more serious crime than possessing it. But the way the public health code is set up, possession is a more serious crime than use for all the controlled substances. We've met before, as I said, but I want to make sure I got all my ducks in a row before I do the sentencing here. I don't want to just shoot from the hip. I set Mr. George this morning for October 20th. Mr. Bush, are you available for a sentencing on Monday, October 20th?
Yeah, Black Book with me today.
Very good.
Everybody else is probably.
Well, I usually just call your office and talk to the boss, but The
Excuse me,
Melissa,
the day we're aiming for?
Monday, October 20th.
At what time?
Let's say 10:30.
I have something with Judge P at 10:30, so I'm right in the ballpark.
All right. Well, Tim has another one at 10:30, I think. Is that when I set you for? I set it for 11.
I have a 10:30 and 11 scheduled.
But I'm available.
Oh, I thought I did you on the 20th.
I'm available on the 20th, even if it's 11.
All right. Let's say 11. I want to get the police reports. Mr. Haminga, way back when you were on probation, Henry Van Gemmert, one of our longtime probation agents. And Miss White, do you remember who your probation agent was?
No, I'm not sure of his name. He's a younger fellow, so I'm sure he's still here.
Well, we've lost some. Anyway, I'll look into both of those things. Mr. Haminga, what are you doing these days? Are you working someplace?
I'm currently looking for work. After our last hearing, as soon as I got to the house, I did get a call for an interview that I went to. I'm still waiting to hear back from him. It was a house remodeling job. But
So you're looking for work?
Yeah.
Miss White, how about you?
I work part-time.
Where's that?
For Encore Floral Merchandising. I do the flowers in the Myers and Three Rivers in Sturgis.
I knew somebody that had that job. Now let's talk about this. I want to know what I'm dealing with. So I'm going to tell you right now, when I see you next, you're going to both do a test that day. And we're going to see what's in your system. Mr. Ming, if I tested you today, what would be in it?
positive.
For meth? How about you, Miss White?
Definitely positive for marijuana. I'm not sure about that.
All right, well, it's easy for me to say, don't use any methamphetamine because it's a condition of your bond right now that you don't. But it's like saying, hold your breath till I see you in October. But it's going to make a difference to me whether you're still actively using or you set it aside when we do the sentence. Well, you both have managed to get the felony cases dismissed. These could have been charged as a second or subsequent offense, and they weren't. But we're dealing with misdemeanors, which is a whole different area of law. We don't have the sentencing guidelines or other requirements they have in circuit court. So are you both still at the Peck Street address?
No.
You're not there? And you're not there either? Do you live together?
Our addresses are separate, but yeah, we stay together mostly. Like
All right, what town is that in?
Lake Vision.
All right. I don't have an address on either of these. Have you guys got their current addresses?
I'll make sure that we get it worked.
I have a mailing address in White Pigeon for Mr. Haminga.
Mr. O'Bear, I'd like the full police reports, laboratory reports. I don't know if there's any videos. Officer Hanson talked about how they seem even more agitated than usual. Today, nobody's agitated. I don't know if there's any video that you think I should see, but anyway, I'd like to see the reports. I'm gonna send you both out to the counter with the clerks to get a formal notice for our sentencing date. I'm not asking for a pre-sentence investigation, but I do want to get more information. I'm going to look at old probation reports. There is some encouragement in there. You both successfully completed a 7411 probation at one time, but you're both still got a foot in the methamphetamine world, and that's all right. I'm going to ask the court officer to take you guys out. I'll get a formal notice for you. I will see you on the 20th of October and be advised I'm going to try to test you that day. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
The judge will get one.
All right, I'll see you guys in about a month.
Thank you, Judge.
Good morning, Book, and this is Judge Middleton calling. Could I see two customers, Nolan Evett and Nicole Thomas? Nolan Evett, E-V-E-T-T. He's one of the Evett brothers. Jeanette, Nicole Thomas was charged with arson less than $200. She's missed a bunch of court dates. The prosecutor offered at one time disturbing the peace back in April. I guess I would wonder if they would still take a disturbing the peace to get rid of the thing, but we'll see. Cody Matheny failed to appear and filed 242193. When Mr. Frazine gets back, we'll see if we can have him get a hold of him. Oh, I see him. What? Oh, they were set for 9. They are set for 9:30. Well, it is 9:30, so we'll come to that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you Nolan Evett?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Evett, let's talk about your case. I'm Judge Middleton.
Yes, Your Honor.
No, you can just sit there in the chair. Sit that back in the other chair and you'll be on the camera. That chair's good.
Okay.
Nobody ever did that before. I can see you just fine. Can you see me?
Yes, Your Honor.
You got a ticket here in St. Joe County on May 25th for driving with a suspended license. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. It also carries 2 points on your driving record and it requires that your driver's license be suspended. Also here with me at the courthouse is Jeanette Jackson from the Public Defender Office. I asked her to wait so I could talk with you. You didn't show up. You got the ticket and you were supposed to be here. And it looks like Judge Pattison issued a warrant for your arrest. And then you got picked up. You live in Benton Harbor?
Yes, sir, I do, Your Honor.
I usually do a show cause first, but Judge Pattison just directly issues a warrant. So let me ask you a couple of questions. How did you get arrested last night?
Your Honor, I've been locked up in Berrien County Jail for the past 3.5 months, Your Honor. And I was
So that's all right.
And the reason why I was down here is because my girlfriend was at Optolitis in Three Rivers as a rehabilitation service.
All right. Well, your license is revoked according to this, and you got several previous charges of driving suspended. If you plead guilty to this charge, I'm going to lay you out of jail and give you a fine and give you some time to pay it. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor. And
How long you been in the St. Joe County Jail?
So I've been in St. Joseph County Jail since last night, but I've been waiting on St. Joseph County Jail to come get me for about 6 or 7 days now, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to give you 7 days jail credit, 7 days, and the minimum allowable fine of $125 if you plead guilty to this case. You don't have to plead guilty. You can plead not guilty, and I can set it for further proceedings. But if you want to resolve the case this morning, it would involve pleading guilty, and it would also mean this would go on your license and further show a suspension on there. Do you understand?
I am guilty, Your Honor.
All right. Anybody
Yes,
threaten you to get you to plead to this?
No, Your Honor.
Or promise anything?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if you do plead to this charge, I brought my stupid phone in here to do the scan, that you'll be giving up your right to have a trial, and there will not be a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. The public defender is here today. You could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wished. If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. And you have the right to be presumed innocent unless they were able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. So let's go back to May 25th. Let's take a look at this ticket. You got a ticket at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes, Your Honor.
At US 12 and Schimmel Road. What were you doing over there?
I'm not, again, Your Honor, I'm not from around here, but the only reason I was up this way is because, again, I was going to Three Rivers to Optolitis, the rehabilitation services. But she is.
Did you not have a valid license at that time?
No, did not, Your Honor.
All right, you were going too fast. You're going 75. They didn't write you a speeding ticket. By that point, you had overshot Three Rivers. If you came down US 12 from Benton Harbor to Three Rivers, you'd gone past it. So you were going 75, and they didn't give you a ticket for that. And you probably already got defaulted on the no proof of insurance. But I'm going to show that you accepted a plea of guilty. I'm going to give you 7 days jail credit, 7 days. The fine is $125. That is due by October 15th. What were you in the Berrien County Jail for?
I was in Berrien County Jail for domestic violence and having a bullet in my pocket, Your Honor.
All right. Yeah, we had one of those. Guy had 2 bullets in his pocket. All right. Well, you're going to get out of our jail. Will somebody come get you?
I can call my grandmother and my father, Your Honor.
All right. Well, they'll let you make a phone call. Was the domestic violence victim the same girlfriend that worked at Optalis?
No, it was a completely different one, Your Honor.
All right. Well, it's hard to keep that girlfriend straight. All right, sir, you're going to get out. 7 days, credit 7 days, $125 by October 15th.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you're good to go, sir.
Okay, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, good luck. 18 with a bullet. My finger on the trigger, I'm going to pull it. All right, well, we'll get him out of the jail. He's got big driving problems. I don't think this TWLS is going to make it any worse. Good morning. This is Judge Middleton. Are you Nicole Danielle Thomas?
Yes.
We met,
Yeah.
but I need to identify you for the record. This is file 242061 SM. Ms. Thomas, you were charged in a formal complaint of arson of personal property less than $200. That allegedly happened about a year ago, last October 24th in Sturgis. The allegation is that you burned some personal property. It was like out on the terrace.
It was a shirt.
Yeah, Adam Boughton's shirt. And I knew Adam Boughton since he was a kid. Anyway, you were charged with that. You pled not guilty, and Ross Truckee was appointed to represent you. Mr. Truckee is not here today. Jeanette Jackson is here from the Public Defender's Office to make sure we're doing things correctly. The prosecutor had offered just a plea of disturbing the peace. Disturbing the peace is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100, $500. You pled not guilty to that, and we set the matter for a final pretrial, and you didn't show up. So I think we did a show cause. You didn't show up for that either. And then in September, a warrant issued for your arrest. You got arrested last night. Did you get arrested last night?
Yes, I
Where
did.
at?
But they told me it was in Sturgis, near South Jefferson and another street. I don't
Did they
remember
just
where.
arrest you on this warrant, or did you get a
They
new
arrested
charge?
me for child support. No, for child support.
And then they found this warrant.
They told me that the only warrant there was for child support when they arrested me.
Then you got to the jail and they found this one?
They never told me about that one.
Well, I just did. So here's our options. If you wish to plead guilty to disturbing the peace, I'll ask you some questions to make sure you know what you're doing and that you didn't get threatened to do it, and we can resolve the case this morning. If you don't wish to plead to disturbing the peace, I can set the matter for a pretrial conference with your original lawyer, Ross Truckee. What would you like to do?
I'd like to, reset that one with my attorney.
All right. Laura, can you tell me if Ross Truckee has a Thursday pretrial coming up? If you have a history of not showing up, the warrant issue, there's a $500 bond, then you got arrested. I let you out in April on a PR bond. Then you missed in August twice.
I didn't have a vehicle at the time, Your Honor. I didn't have a vehicle at the time. I have one now.
Well, I'm here all day, every day. So is Mr. Truckee. You never called him. You never called us. You just never showed up. So I'm trying to find a place to put this. But in the meantime, you're going to sit in jail.
I'm set to start CDL school on Monday.
Yeah.
Through Michigan Works.
All right. That sounds like a good deal. I don't know if Laura heard me or not. I'm searching myself.
I mean, if we resolve it today, then I wouldn't have to sit.
Yes, I was going to let you out, but if you
Okay, then I'll resolve it, please. I mean, I've been trying to get set up to go to school for about 6 months to a year now, and it's finally been approved. That I just spoke with the guy, and it's all approved with Michigan Works for me to start this 3-week course. But I really do not want to miss it. I've been waiting to do this for a long time.
All right, give me a minute.
October 2nd.
All right, thanks. Okay, well, I could set it for October 2nd. As I indicated, you missed court multiple times, so I would not reduce the bond under $500. The prosecutor offered to dismiss this with a charge of disturbing the peace. You got mad at your boyfriend, you went out on the street and set his shirt on fire. That ought to be sufficient for disturbing the peace. If you wish to plead to that charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury. Do you understand?
I don't believe I need one.
All right, if you had a trial, you'd have the right to take the witness stand and testify on your own behalf. But you don't have to, because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you. You'd also have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. You need to have the right to be presumed innocent, unless the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand?
I do.
All right, other than what I just told you about getting out of jail, did anybody promise you anything?
No, they just told me that I would go in and probably take care of it, be out today. That's it.
Anybody threatened you to get you to plead to this?
No, I know that I just need to get these taken care of and get moved forward. That's why I'm trying to get the CDL so I can start a different career where I can get money to take care of my child support and start doing things I need to do correctly. Well, it was Byrne, it wasn't Adams, and it wasn't anybody else's. It was my grandpa.
Why were you angry?
I was.
And so that was your...
At the time, it was emotionally and a lot of emotions, and I ended up going to the psychiatric hospital for the incident. And since then, there's been no incidents of anything I've done. I've been on the street. 3 days credit, 3 days. You did one at the front end, then you did another one, and then you did one last night. I don't know what's going to go on with your non-support warrant. I'll give you the minimum allowable fine of $125. That's going to be due by October 15th. Okay. So you're going to get out of jail. Do you need a bus pass to get home, or somebody come get you? If I could, no, I don't have anyone that can come get me. Well, if you don't, come up here to the courthouse, come up to the bailiffs at the front, and they'll give you a bus pass to get back to Sturgis. Okay. Or you can go to the fair and elephant ear, I guess. But at this point, you're going to get out of jail. Okay. All right, Miss Thomas. So we finally brought closure to this. We'll let Mr. Truckee know the case has been resolved, and you're free to go. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. This is the time and date for the sentence in People versus Scott Michael Wells. Mr. Wells was charged with assault with dangerous weapon and domestic violence second offense. The assault with a dangerous weapon was dismissed, and the defendant pled to domestic violence second back on September 9th. I set the matter for sentencing today, which is actually less than 10 days, but I wanted to give an opportunity to get some victim input. I wanted to take a look at the police report. So the matter was set for this morning. Prosecuting Attorney Angelique Camfield is here for the people, and John Bush is here with the defendant. Mr. Bush, what would you like me to know?
My client, Your Honor, is 44 years old. He has accepted his responsibility in this case. He has now been in jail 21 days. He has no plan for any reconciliation with Ms. Engelmeyer. I learned that the first day I met with him, and he confirmed that today, that there are no plans to reconcile. They have no common children. I asked about, I mean, they weren't married, but we talked about the property settlement. Does he have stuff of hers or does she have stuff of his? And he says there's a bicycle she has, but he's not interested in that. So there would be no reason or occasion for him to be contacting her to secure any property. He was homeless at the time of this incident. I've asked him where he's going to go today and if he is released today or when he's released. And says he has some friends that would pick him up and he may very well be living potentially even in Indiana. At this time, he has a job waiting or a job he believes available for him at Precision Wire. I suggest to the court that the 21 days is sufficient punishment, and I don't think there's any reason for probation.
Thank you. Ms. Campbell, what's your thought here?
Thank you, Your Honor. I've had an opportunity to review the police report as well as the defendant's record. And I respectfully disagree with Mr. Bush, only for the following reasons. The defendant shows a 2005 home invasion second degree, a 2008 impaired conviction, a 2011 impaired conviction, and a 2023 domestic violence conviction, all of which the first two were jail sentences. The second two, the impaired and the domestic violence that were more recent, resulted in probation terms with some jail, the longest of which at that point was 18 days. Even though there's no reconciliation here planned, there was a short-term relationship. They dated for approximately 8 months. They lived together for approximately 3 weeks. On the date of this incident, per the report, Ms. Angelmeyer had packed her things and was getting ready to leave. And per her report to the officers, he asked for a cigarette. She wouldn't give him one, and then he proceeded to attack her. Part of it was that she indicated he was angry she was leaving as well and had threatened her before that she would not be able to leave. Threatened her with a hatchet on a previous occasion, threatened her this day with a knife. Had actually stabbed the knives into the drywall. The officers found punctures in the drywall. They also found puncture marks in the mattress, which coincides with Miss Angelmeyer's account of the event.
And the door.
Exactly. They did find a knife with drywall dust on it, verifying that, again, what she had indicated had most likely occurred. And it just had injuries that could be either palpated or visibly seen by the officers as well that were consistent with her report. So in this particular instance, with a plea to a domestic violence second, we have up to a year that we can recommend for jail. He has already served 21 days. He hasn't served a significant period of jail since 2005, when that apparently was a full year in custody. I think that a few weeks longer of jail would be appropriate. What I'm tussling with is probation, because obviously the probation in 2023 did not get through to Mr. Wells. There's reports that he was drinking that night, that he may have also been utilizing methamphetamine. That may have been one of the explanations for the violence, certainly not the excuse for it.
His PBT was 000.
He had indicated he drank earlier in the day.
Yeah, some vodka, he said. But yes, but yeah, by the time they got to him,
correct.
I don't know about meth, but yeah.
So I am concerned about that. It seems that there are still issues with his substance use and whether or not he's capable of keeping his hands off of people. So I think perhaps another period of probation could be prudent. But again, we've had 2 prior probation terms, albeit in 2011 and 2023, that weren't successful in their rehabilitation of him. So it's a tough position for Your Honor to be in, because from my perspective, he's just continuing to use substances. He's continuing to commit crimes against people, and that warrants a jail term. I don't know that we're going to get through to him with probation at this point.
Well, he did the earlier probation with Dan Friesen, and the complainant in that case was Ricky Kovac. She also tried to evict him, and she set up a termination of tenancy. And I think at that point he had moved, and the case just got dismissed because nobody showed up. Mm-hmm. She then contacted the probation department later and said she didn't care anymore about the restitution. So I believe he did the anger management class. And ultimately was discharged by Dan.
Sorry.
Did you do the anger management class?
Oh, yes, sir, I did.
That's what I thought. Now, one of the questions I had in this case is whether we got any input from Carrie Engelmeyer. She professed to be quite fearful of him, fearful for her life, said the first time in her life she ever feared for her life, and that he'd started to be assaultive in the last couple of weeks of this relationship. And again, threatened him if she left. And we all know that the most dangerous time in a domestic violence victim's life is when they try to leave the assaulter. But she's gone. I don't think she lives at that address anymore. Did you get any input from her?
Your Honor, my office did try to communicate with her. There was not a phone number, and we have not received any responses. And it appeared from the report and pursuant to the defendant's report to his attorney that they may have all been homeless at that time and living together in that home where they were found because there was no water or electricity pursuant to the officer's information.
Oh, I didn't know that. It was a house on East Street.
Mm-hmm. That seems to be the case. So I don't have an address whereby we can contact her. I do note that she was put into the Vine system for notifications. How frequently she was checking that, I don't know.
Mr. Wells, whose house was this? Do you remember?
The house is owned by Kevin Beebe, was the recent owner. He had taken off and he had moved to Florida.
Is this that big red apartment place?
No, Your Honor. This is over on 4th Street.
4th Street.
4th Street, yes, Your
Honor. Is that the house that burned?
Negative. That is on the opposite side beyond the basketball courts.
Okay.
If you're heading out of town, right there at Triple Creek, if you take the first right, it's at the intersection of that road and 4th Street. It was 1400.
Well, Triple Creek is 4th Avenue.
Okay.
4th Avenue and 4th Street are in different parts of town.
Oh, okay.
If you're old, you call them wards. 4th Avenues are in 4th Ward, and the streets are in 2nd Ward. At any rate, the knives in here cause me concern. You indicated you had a knife, but they never found that knife. But there were holes in the wall.
There was a dartboard there, Your Honor, and the dartboard had broken and fallen down.
Yeah, this was 4th Street. And there was this other guy, Dick, where she alleged he was involved in this.
She also attacked him, Your Honor. That morning, I acted in self-defense. And so did Dick. And Dick was never brought about to give his side of the story.
Well, we don't even know who he is.
I know his last name starts with an H. That's the extent of what I know. I know an hour after I'm out of here, Your Honor, I probably can find him. He's not hard to find. The police officer said he was going to even bring him.
Neither you or Miss Engelmeyer were able to provide his last name. So I don't know. Anyway, we did this other probation with Miss Kovac. Some of that other stuff you had was when you were younger up north.
Is there any more that you want to say?
Yeah.
Yes, there is. I throw knives. It's a hobby of mine. I collect knives. I always have a lot of knives around. The throwing knives in the house thing with the drywall on the knife, That was something that Kevin and I were doing before his departure. We had permission to stay at that house. And in fact, after this altercation, the police officer even told me that if Dick presented himself and gave his side of the story, he would come let me out of jail and he would put her in jail instead. This whole assault thing with a deadly weapon is really blowing the entire situation out of the water. We got into a little bit of an altercation. I went to grab a cigarette from her, and actually I went pretend like I was going to give her a kiss, and I grabbed a pack of cigarettes. She attacked me at that point, and then I kind of pushed her off, and I took a cigarette out, and then my buddy asked if he could have a cigarette. I threw him the pack, and I said sure, and then she attacked him, and then she got the cigarettes back from him. That's the extent of what happened that morning, where I don't know where any of this other stuff with the knives and the holes in the wall and the holes in the door, all that stuff is from unrelated separate events. Those were separate events.
Well, knives can be certainly intimidating. Where are you going to go when you get out?
Your Honor, actually, I was discussing with my attorney here this morning that
10:45 a.m.
I have a friend who has 2 vehicles for sale, and he wants $500 a piece for each of these. And I also have a buyer lined out for $3,000 total for the 2 cars. That's going to put $2,000 in my hands literally today if I can get out of here. Then at that point, I know where there's an apartment that just got finished over in the neighborhood right where my children live.
Where's that?
That's going to be
what town?
3 Rivers East Street. If that apartment's still available, I would love to get that apartment because I can walk my kids to school or from school whenever.
Who do your kids live with?
They live with Ricky Kovac at that 302 Portage there. I've been trying to get back with her. Is what I've been wanting to do. Actually, Your Honor, that the day that I was arrested, I also was packing my things, and I believe it says in the report, I'm not sure. But I also was trying as quickly as I could to get my things packed and to get out of there. And I've been working on my bike and my bike trailer. I mean, my dog went back to its original owner because of this. And to be honest with you, this entire situation has set me back probably $7,500 so far just being in jail this amount of time.
Yeah, there's a lost opportunity cost of being in jail.
Plus not having, I have jobs that are waiting for me. Both a W-2 job and both like a contract, just 1099 jobs.
When did you last work before this?
I've worked off and on kind of under, side jobs, just here and there. I've always done that, but the last person that I worked for would be Ashley Miller. I worked for him for a couple of years off out Crooked Creek Road area, Clear Lake. I've been around there. I've done quite a bit of small jobs around the Clear Lake area. And
what you refer to as a W-2 job. When did you ever have a last job for actual employer?
For the last job I had for an employer would have been probably, I think, Precision Wire. Precision Wire, and I've worked for some individuals taking care of managing their properties and stuff down in the Clear Lake area. Yeah.
All right. I don't think you got a job waiting for you at Precision Wire, but
I do, Your Honor. Mark Lillywhite and Corey Angel both want me back to go program robots, sir.
All right. Well, maybe so. I don't know why you wouldn't do that rather than quote unquote side jobs. I don't want you on probation again. We didn't do all that great, although you did complete it. Carrie Engelmeyer forgave the restitution. She started an eviction and then let it lapse, but by that point you were out of there.
Your Honor, that was Ricky Lynn Kovac. He forgave it, and that was because I performed.
That's what she said. You did a bunch of work for her.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, 35 days, credit 21, leaving 14 days to serve minus good time, which means you're going to do about 9 more days, I'd guess, $125 or 2 additional days in jail. This is a domestic violence. Second, she did have injuries, which they photographed. on her head, on her arms, on her leg, on her thigh. They didn't see any injuries on Mr. Wells, and the elusive Dick, unknown witness, was never found. I was interested to hear what she had to say, but I don't think she's doing very well either. And I think methamphetamine is underlying here. You're so qualified for all these jobs, but you're living in an abandoned house with no water. I think there's more going on here than meets the eye. And
I took
don't say anymore. I'll just leave it at that. And then you had a couple eye-opener shots of vodka in the morning, which also caused some concern. And these knives, just owning a bunch of knives, being knives, hatches, things that are said, they're a silent coercion. Anyway, 35 days, credit 21, $125, which is the minimum allowable fine. I even waived the attorney fee, or 2 extra days in jail. All right, Mr. Wells, good luck. Hope you do get the job when you get out.
All right.
Your Honor, pardon me, but is there a crime victim fee as well?
Yeah, a crime victim fee of $75 and a $50 state minimum fee.
Thank you.
That's the 125. All right, Mr. Wells, you're good to go.
They'll put it in there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge.
Good afternoon, Mr. Carmona. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done everything with you always in English. We have an interpreter available. I think your English is as good as mine.
Yeah, I speak perfectly good English.
Yes, you do. All right, Pablo, thank you for your assistance and thanks for coming in on short notice.
Thank you, Your Honor. Bye-bye.
Bye. Mr. Carmona, I'm here to do what's called an arraignment, a jail arraignment. You got 2 cases we need to address. Also here with us is the Chief Public Defender, Mr. Keith Stickley, and Angelique Camfield from the Prosecuting Attorney's Office. The first case we're going to deal with is the newest one, 251282. In that case, you're charged with carrying a concealed weapon. Let me go to the actual complaint. I should have printed these out.
Sorry. Yeah, I didn't even know that the pistol was in there. Like,
all right, well, don't say any more about it.
Don't talk about that here. This is not the time.
I understand you threw your mother under the bus. But stop. Let me just tell you what the charge is right now. The complaint alleges that on November 2nd, you're carrying a 9mm handgun in a GMC Yukon. It's commonly known as carrying concealed weapon, punishable by up to 5 years in prison, fine of up to $2,500. You're also charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm because you have a felony conviction for possession of methamphetamine. That's all punishable by up to 5 years imprisonment. You're charged with possession of ammunition by a felon, which is a 5-year felony. You're charged with having a firearm during the commission of a felony, which is the felony firearm statute, which requires 2 years in prison consecutive and preceding any other sentence. You're charged with driving suspended, and you're charged with being a 4th habitual offender. So this is punishable by, I believe, up to 15 years imprisonment. And if you're convicted of all of this, you'd have to do 2 years in prison at minimum. I'm going to show that you plead not guilty. I'm going to set a pre-exam for 9/30/25 at 8:30. And I'm going to set a preliminary examination, if needed, for October 7th at 1. Appoint an attorney. I have to set a bond in that case. Let's step over to the other case for a minute. You also failed to appear for your arraignment on this charge. And that was back in July. We had to issue a bench warrant for your arrest. Judge Pattison set the bond at $15,000, which sounds just about right to me.
Yeah, I was waiting for a court date through the mail is what they said I would have to be waiting for through the 1301 Cato, and I never got a paper through the mail. This is what I was waiting for the arraignment on the second charge.
All right, well, let's talk about the other charge. You had a previous case where you had a gun and you were driving on a suspended license and it was reduced to attempted resisting obstructing. I ordered as a condition of probation that you not drive a car, that you not use or possess a firearm, and then you get stopped for like deja vu all over again, driving in Michigan with a suspended license and a gun in the car, which you contend belonged to your mother, and you had no clue there was a gun under the seat with a round in the chamber directly under where you were sitting. Don't say any more about it. Anyway, so let's talk about that case. You sort of fell off the map.
Your Honor, may I have that case number for the?
That is file 241951.
Thank you.
So your probation agent filed a probation violation petition alleging that you had violated your probation by violating any criminal law of any unit of government, failing to report on a monthly basis, failing to pay fines and costs, failing to abstain from the use of drugs and alcohol or test on demand, failed to abstain from driving and possessing a firearm. He filed that petition on September 5th. It's set for a hearing on October 15th, and that date hasn't appeared yet. But I figured I'd arraign you on that right now. In that case, you have a right to have an attorney to represent you, and you'd have a right to have it proven beyond a preponderance that you violated your probation. That was filed by Daniel Frazine. Just as an aside, this has been yet another probation failure for Mr. Carmona. When he was on probation with Agent Wagner, he was revoked for absconding. He was on in 2023 with this officer, and he was again revoked for absconding. So here we are again in 2025, and he is again absconded from this probation. He's failed the test, failed to pay fines, did not stop driving, and even got new charges with a gun. This officer feels this defendant does not give one iota about the law. I had ordered 182 days credit to, and I deferred 80 days. And so we're going to set a probation violation in that case. I'm going to appoint an attorney in 241951 FY, set a PV hearing.
And in the case
bond is denied. Doesn't matter what I said, the bond is denied.
Right.
You absconded from 2 previous probations. You went AWOL on this one. You got caught with a gun in your car and you were driving. And I gave you the beautiful grace of 180 days hung over your head. And they're hanging pretty low right now. So the bond in the probation violation case is denied. You're not presumed to be innocent in that case. You've been convicted and you're on probation. In the new felony case, I'm going to set bond at $10,000 cash or surety. Sort of doesn't matter because, Judge Pattison set it at $15,000 cash or surety. He didn't show up for your arraignment. Let's take a look just to make sure about that notice.
Then I was waiting for a paper to be sent to my grandma's house where I've been staying, and it never showed up. I think that's why they think that I absconded, and I never absconded. I was calling every month. Dan never asked me to drop. He never, like the only thing that I was waiting on was a court date for the new charge.
You got a notice given to you by the magistrate, time of your arraignment, for an appearance at 8:30 a.m. on July 16th.
I was never arraigned though. That's the thing. They just set me a bond, and I was able to bond out. And the bonds lady said to wait for a paper in the mail to be sent to your grandma's, and then I'll tell you when you need to go to court. And I never got one. And I never absconded. I was never trying to run. I was never I was literally trying to do everything I needed to do for this probation, because you gave me the grace of the 180 days. You gave me the grace of the probation. You were working with me, and I was willing, and I'm working with you, Middleton. I don't want you to think that I have no statutes for the fucking, for law.
All right.
Sorry about that. I'm just confused because I didn't want to let you down, Judge Middleton. That's all I want. I never wanted to let you down. I was just waiting for
Well, let me just say this. I sure feel let down.
I know. I understand.
Don't say any more. They sent, you didn't show up for your prelim or pre-exam. It looks like it went to Aspenwald and Elkhart.
I don't even live there though. Why did you go there?
You fill this out. I can't tell we'll figure that out, but Judge Pattison set the bond at $15,000, which doesn't matter because I canceled your other bond. Do not drive. I guess you didn't understand what I said.
That's because everybody was drinking on
Stop.
July.
Do not use or possess a firearm or other dangerous weapon. No drugs and no alcohol. I don't think we'll get to this, but if you are released for any reason, you must contact the Office of Community Corrections immediately upon your release. Do not use alcohol or any controlled substance. All right, Daniel is on a vacation right now, but when he gets back, we'll get this scheduled for a hearing. One of the issues is these two cases are related. It's an allegation that you violated your probation by driving and possessing a firearm. In addition, there's other allegations. You didn't pay, you didn't report. After the accident, all right, don't say anymore. After the accident, Daniel contends you sort of fell off the grid. So we'll sort this all out. Anyway, I've got 180 days hanging over your head. And as I said, right now they're hanging pretty close to the top of your hairline. But we'll deal with this. I don't know who your new attorney is. Your previous attorney was Jordan Harden. All right. I'll see you on September 30th for the pre-exam. Probably the PV won't be any sooner than that. And the two cases are tied together. But right now you're going to stay right where you are. All right, thank you. Keith, my apologies to Judge Kane. This next one isn't going to be a piece of cake either.
If you wouldn't mind, if your office staff could just drop them a note so they know where I am. I'm kind of locked up here on the Zoom.
I'll send them.
So they can probably hear it. Thank you.
Keith's with me. Mr. Kane's waiting for him, waiting for me to finish Roberts so he can deal with Mr. Garrick. So I just called booking and said we're ready to see Mr. Roberts. So call him again and say this call has exceeded the maximum. Okay. They're about to click me out of here at my end of the day.
I don't have my glasses on. I can't read.
I'm open to whatever. Just don't hold me in contempt.
I hold you in the highest regard. Mr. Roberts went for a competency evaluation in his last case, 24-25359 as a circuit court matter. He was in the hospital for a while when the case got bound over. Judge Stutzman simply gave him 497 days in jail, credit 497 days, no probation, just let him out. And I think they were just didn't know what else to do with him. He had previous similar things like this where he was going to blow up a school, and he was out in this country terrorizing some people. He's a former all-conference, possibly all-state athlete who has struggled with mental illness. Mr. Yerrick is another guy who has struggled. His mom owns Dad's place, which Angelique has never been to, but she'll broaden her experiences.
However, I did get to the fair.
Oh, okay. Good for you. 174 years of the fair. Started in 1851. We learned today.
Nice.
They expect to have 150,000 visitors this week, which exceeds the county population by about 2. My fear is that Mr. Roberts isn't doing well.
Judge, I sent that to you. Oh, sorry.
She said earlier he was doing okay. He knows me. We'll see how he is when we talk to him. Important to
You don't have to worry.
Good afternoon, Mr. Roberts. This is Judge Middleton. Can you hear me?
Yes, Jeffrey.
Good. I'm fine, thanks.
Oh, Jeffrey.
We got to get your case back on track, Mr. Roberts. Also with me is Mr. Stickley from the Public Defender's Office and Ms. Camfield from the Prosecutor's Office. You missed a court date last week, and we need to get the case reset.
Okay.
So
I talked to my lawyer and stuff. I talked to 3 or 4 lawyers. I got the information and stuff. That I was home. I was held here 8 days. I was only home 2 days. I was told to stay home and not leave the property, and that's what I was instructed to do, and that's what I did.
Well, you missed your court date. Your lawyer was Jordan Harden. I'm going to reset.
It's not a court date.
To reset it for September 23rd.
Okay.
25 at 8:30.
Okay.
And I'm going to set a prelim for 9:30/25 at 1. Mr. Roberts, who posted your bond?
I don't know.
You had a $4,000 cash or surety 10% bond. Somebody put up $400 to get out of jail.
I have no idea who did. I went to try to talk to my sister Stacy because to get my dog, my German Shepherds back, and she's on my bank account, and I went to get my dogs back, and she told me to go away. I was like, all right, maybe she's upset or something, maybe something I did, but she won't.
Why don't you take a minute and put your shirt on? All right.
I haven't even been booked in or anything.
All right. Well, we'll get squared away here.
I'd like to Fred Taylor. I talked to him. He's supposed to call Fred in uptown at Ross Truckies.
Well, they
Yeah.
appointed Jordan Harden as your attorney, and we'll
I haven't-
reset this.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Judge Patterson wasn't very happy. He didn't show up. He set the bond at $10,000 cash or surety.
I didn't have anything in the mail or nothing. I didn't even know about it.
Well, that's what the other guy said. Now, you also have a new charge. You got arrested last night or this morning for malicious use of a telephone. Let's talk about that one.
I have no idea. I documented everything I did yesterday on Facebook, everything. And I talked to people and I've got everything documented. I was calling places, called VA. I was trying to get a hold of just different areas that can help me out to keep me safe. Talking to attorneys, talking to my neighbors. And my neighbors are coming up, my neighbors know what's going on. This has happened 3 or 4 times. That case I had a few years ago was dismissed by Stutzman.
Yeah, one
No
was
probation.
dismissed. One, no, he gave you 497 days in jail layout. This complaint alleges that you used a phone to terrorize, frighten, intimidate, threaten, harass, molest, or annoy the peace and quiet of the Cynthia J. Thomason and the members of the Church of God by threatening physical harm or damage to the property. And that happened this morning,
That's
September 18th.
alleged.
They allege that you called the church and threatened to blow it up or something.
They said
Left some
that about-
messages on their phone.
That's why you don't believe anything on the internet or TV.
All right, so on that one, I'm going to show a plea of not guilty. Appoint an
This is a
attorney.
Public building. I'm in a public building and facing a federal court, a judge. That's
Well,
that's
I'm not a federal judge. I'm just a.
Well, you are. There
local
is no
district-
federal court. There is no federal court. You know that.
Well, I'm a district court, and you know me for all your life.
Yeah,
But
you know,
let
man.
me.
Cousin, could you get hold of Matt or Liz or Tim Verhey or
Well,
somebody for me?
Well, we're going to appoint an attorney and set an attorney pretrial for 10/3/25 at 8:30. Since you got out of jail in December, have you been hooked up with any mental health treatment?
Yes, every day with the VA. I was supposed to get meds sent today with the VA. That's what I've been waiting on for a while. And I've been calling them every day and checking in with my mental health and talking to triage nurses and talking to
Have you been
staff.
taking your meds?
Yes. I'm doing everything they require me to do.
Well, I set this case as quickly as I could, which is next Tuesday, 9/23. Judge Patterson set the bond at $10,000, and I'm going to leave it as it was, same conditions as before.
What's that mean? Can't you just get a PR bond? I got lawyers and stuff.
Yeah, Jim, I'm afraid you're gonna hurt yourself or somebody else, or someone's gonna shoot you.
Anybody,
And you get off on these rants and you lose your temper.
I'm
And
not losing any temper.
uh,
This is
you
not
went
fair.
to the
This is not
went to
Robert's
the
Rules
forensic
Order.
center.
Robert's Rules Order, United States Marine Corps, 386743923, James W. Roberts Jr., 100% disabled. Need
Yes.
VA assistance. You're supposed to send me to the VA or the Sturgis Hospital for 3 days. for
Well,
mental
I
health.
think
You're not one to evaluate my mental condition. If I'd evaluate, I'd say you're incompetent and you stay in jail for a year and a half.
well, that wasn't up to me, but obviously we need to get this case on track.
Won't fly in court. This
So-
won't fly. This won't fly, whatever. It ain't gonna fly. This is a public building, public place.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
All right.
This
I
ain't
got
gonna
a
fly.
feeling you got another trip to the forensic center for evaluation in your future, but we'll determine
No, I
it.
don't. No, I don't.
Bond in the next case is 10,000 cash or surety. In the misdemeanor, malicious use of a telephone.
You don't know that. You're not the jury and the judge. That's false.
No, you're right.
No, he's
I'm not. But I'm concerned about your safety, frankly.
Well,
You and I've had
mental
this
health says
discussion
I'm
before.
okay. You're not a mental health doctor. My mental health people say I'm fine.
All right, well, we want to hear from them and confirm that. Your next court date is next Tuesday at 8:30. Judge Pattison set your bond at $10,000 cash or surety. I'll see you, or he'll see you at that time.
Is it the bond on the new case too, Judge?
The bond on the new case is 1,000 cash or
Thank you.
surety. Jordan's not gonna make much progress with him. And the problem is, and when you have a competency evaluation, it takes months and months and months. I think he actually went to the forensic center and then he got out and they medicated him. They found him to be competent. Judge Stutzman took his plea and then so he's been out since last January, but these are things where literally someone's going to shoot him when he's standing out in the middle of the street with no shirt on, ranting. All right, this is a claim. It's versus Marion King and Brianna Guerrero. Neither party is here. The defendant has filed a complaint for supplemental money damages. Ms. Wolf, would you please raise your right hand? Can you swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give here will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, Your Honor.
Someone has logged in, Crystal Gray. Which case are you here on?
For my case.
All right, you're here on the
Landlord woman.
yes, all right. We'll come to that in a minute. You're in the right place.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Ms. Sprague and her office has filed a complaint for supplemental damages with a pretty nice breakdown of how the costs were calculated. Ms. Wolf, is the unpaid rent $6,999?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what was the amount?
$6,999.
If I may, Your Honor, if I could clarify, Ms. Wolf, he's asking only regarding the past due rent, not including the court costs or the late fees.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the accounting sheet. Rent is $6,999. Then you and your company applied the security deposit of $274.42, and it left the unpaid rent of $6,724.58. Do you agree with that?
I have different figures, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Well, it would be helpful if you would look at the complaint for damages that was filed by Mr. Gann, if you have that.
Your Honor, if I could briefly speak with my client in a breakout room, I'll review the total.
All right, thanks.
My apologies to the court.
All right, that's all right. Sometimes that's how it goes. Breakout room, Samantha Sprague. All right, you guys join and I'll be right here. They did a nice job of breaking down these numbers. If they can get that attorney and the manager on the same wavelength, it's all rent.
Judge, Attorney Cromendike had been on the phone. Attorney Cromendike and I have been on the phone for the last 42 minutes or so.
Very good, thanks. Okay, I thought this would be a straightforward default, but we gotta make sure we're all on the same page here, so I'm waiting for them, but we should be done momentarily. Very good. I thought you were gonna come to the fair and overbid at the auction on some other people's bid, but maybe next year.
Well, actually, I was hoping to maybe come down tonight, but I was just telling Attorney Cromendike, I've been having some gastrointestinal issues this morning.
Well, the fair food would fix that right up.
Well, I mean, I think it settles down nicely. I think it's the vegetables.
It's going to send you one way or another. I'll tell you that much.
Mr. Cromendike, we're waiting for some parties in the breakout room, and I think we're going to be able to complete our other matter. So if you just bear with me for a moment. All right, Attorney Sprague and Rebecca Wolf, the community manager at Sturgis Housing Limited, have returned. Ms. Sprague, are we ready to go here?
We are, Your Honor. We appreciate the court's patience.
All right, Ms. Sprague, what I'm looking at is they represented that rent less security deposit was $6,724.58. Can you agree with that?
Yes, Your Honor. I do show that that is the correct unpaid rent with a prorated amount for August on the date that they were had vacated.
All right, and then court costs are $538.
Yes, Your Honor.
$300 of late fees, so the total judgment is $7,562.58. Is that correct?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Ms. Wolf, you agree with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
I do not have an order.
Your Honor, I will verify that with my staff, but I will get that over to you in the next 20 minutes.
All right, you've got the email 3bcivil@stjosephcountymi.gov.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll get that sent over right away.
All right, thank you. Ms. Wolf, confirm the numbers under oath. We'll enter the default judgment. The defendants received notice they aren't here. And I'll sign it when you submit it. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Email is a wonderful thing. All right, those people did not appear, which often happens in those kinds of cases, which takes us to 11:05. It's now 11:10, but it's a time to return to Ms. Wolf. I'll remove you so you can go on with your, she's gone. All right, Ms. Gray, would you join us?
That's not bad, Judge. You were able to catch up pretty good from where we were earlier this morning.
Yeah, plus I had 4 minutes for a donut. So yeah, we gotten behind with some cases and then we caught up. All right, we've been working on this case for a while. We're here on 8/29 and on 9/5. We'll continue the matter 2 weeks to today. The title of the case is Golden Pond Estates Mobile Home Park versus Crystal Gray. Mr. Steve Cromendike is here for Golden Pond Estates. Their manager, Casey Villa, is also present, and the defendant, Crystal Gray, is here. Megan Bauer from Legal Aid has filed an appearance on her behalf. We're struggling with several issues, some having to do with water and sanitation, and some having to do with the amount of rent. The parties have been working on this matter and are all here today. Mr. Cromendike, I'll defer to you and see what our status here is today.
Well, Ms. Bauer and I were just on the phone for, I don't know, half hour or so here immediately before the hearing, trying to work through a number of the issues that we've got outstanding. We do not have a resolution on them. I provided, at least after our last hearing, there were a couple of issues that I had come away with trying to provide information on. One of them was the operating license of the park, and whether or not that's current. I am actively working with my client and with the state of Michigan on that. It sounds like there was some miscommunication with where those notices were being mailed. And so that should be rectified. If it is not already, it should be rectified very shortly. The other was the utilities and the water quality. I provided Ms. Bauer with testing results going back through 2024, June of 2024 through today, or through this month. I'm sorry, through August of 2025, as well as the end of the year 2024 full report. So she does have those, but it sounds like she still wants some more. Meg, I'll let you kind of speak to that.
All right, well, let's look at the numbers. The amount alleged was $1,226.42 plus $249.20 in utilities, some credit card costs. Then we added in August. We're now into September. At that time, we were at $1,870.62. That was on August 29th. Then on September 5th, we just kind of further down the rabbit hole. And I don't know that we had a figure.
I can give you the
Ms.
figure
Bauer,
I have as of today.
Yes.
So I have rent for possession in the amount of $633.42 and court costs in the amount of $249.20 for a total for possession of $882.62.
All right, Ms. Bauer, what's your position?
So my client has paid in excess of $3,000 towards her rent, and the majority of, or everything that plaintiff is seeking in order to have an order of possession is additional fees and costs. The range of those fees and costs, so what was listed as rent as at 633 is actually almost exclusively utilities. And the utility charges, utilities and late fees, I should say. The utilities are owned and operated or billed, I guess, by a third party. We have questions about the accuracy of those billings and statements. There is no lease between the parties obligating Ms. Gray to pay the park, or allowing the park to take her payments and applying them towards other fees and not towards her rent. So there's a legal question. Can unpaid utilities and late fees alone provide a basis for a judgment of possession for non-payment of rent? That would depend on whether the lease authorizes that. In this case, we don't have a lease, so the defense's position would be no. More immediately, though, the park is unlicensed still, as Mr. Kromendijk indicated. One of the violations, or one of the bases for the delay in getting its license renewed, did involve exposed sewer lines, and so that's the primary, or that's the next factual question raised in this case, which is whether there should be any mitigation based on the quality of the water that has been delivered to the tenants. And to that end, Your Honor, we have submitted several Freedom of Information Act and other requests to the state. The state has been processing them, and we don't have them back yet. So although Attorney Kromendijk has provided us with some water testing results, those are in isolation, and the defense is seeking the entire context so that the court can have the correct and accurate picture. Indeed, Attorney Kromendijk and I have gone back and forth. We're a lot closer, I think, than we were. We are closer, but but we're at an impasse on the utilities at this point. I can elaborate.
Well, let me stop for a minute. He's calling it rent, and you're saying it's not rent. It's utilities and late fees. So I don't know how that figure is, that 633.42 comes out. There's this whole issue with this third-party water providing and metering service. They apparently operate the well. And as I mentioned this in each hearing, we've got this issue with each of our rural mobile home parks, water and sanitation issues when you have a large number of dwellings in a small amount of space with a septic above the water table. It's a recipe for water quality issues. This property did have some sort of a sanitation or large septic system put in at one time, but I'm not sure what the status of it is. So first issue, you're not licensed to operate a mobile home park presently. Do you even have standing to sue her for this?
I don't know.
We would argue the defense would argue the plaintiff does not.
I don't want to open Pandora's box, but that's a pretty fundamental issue. The next issue, and we're really down to splitting hairs here. The court costs are the court costs, no matter what anything else is, if we come up with $1. So we're fighting about $633.42. Plaintiff claims is rent, but it isn't rent. It's water fees and late fees. But the defendant doesn't have a lease. So I'm not sure you can even request late fees when you don't have a lease. And the lease, there is a homeowner lease agreement that was filed, but it isn't signed by anybody. Miss Gray, did you ever sign a lease?
Ms. Gray, you'll have to unmute and make a verbal statement.
I was trying to figure out how to do that. Sorry. No, I have not.
Why not?
I was seeking legal advice on it because there's a lot of things that were questionable to me about, like I wasn't sure. And it was a lot more money too if we did sign a lease.
So are you renting the lot and trailer?
No, I own the trailer for 5 years now.
All right, I'm going to dismiss this case without prejudice under 3 theories. 1, there is no lease, so plaintiff's not entitled to request late fees when there's no lease. There is no lease, which doesn't entitle plaintiff to request utilities payment, which are not included in this non-lease agreement. And third, the defendant is not presently licensed to operate a mobile home park. So fortunately, these numbers aren't huge. Ms. Bauer, I'd ask you to present an order to dismiss without prejudice.
Understood, Your Honor. I'll get that to you this morning or before I leave. There's only a few minutes left in the morning, but.
All right. What I would suggest for your protection, Ms. Gray, and the protection of the park, Ms. Villa, that you get some sort of a lease for her to be on this property. Miss Gray, if you don't have a lease, they can simply ask to terminate your tenancy and have you move your trailer out of there. If they have a proposed lease and you don't want to sign it, then you don't get to stay there. If they have a lease that will clarify these things, what is the local security deposit? What is the late fee? What is the utility agreement? Right now, we're in the Wild West because there's no lease. You made substantial payments. I think you wish to stay there. I don't know what these water quality tests are. I don't know if they're a test out of your tap or there's some test at the wellhead that the company has provided. We've all seen the terrible stories where they flush red dye down the toilet and then they run the faucet and the red dye comes out the faucet. So I don't know what those mean. Anyway, we've got three issues: no lease, no late fees, no utilities required without the lease, and I'm not sure they can even operate lawfully. Now, I want to tread lightly. I don't want to make all the people at the park homeless. Ms. Villa, how many units are at the park?
Let me just go ahead and quickly check, Your Honor. Golden Pond. 41, sir.
As I indicated, this park has been here for a long time and it's passed through several different owners. I'm not sure about the most recent incarnation. Years ago, when we had terrible water quality problems, the health department was reluctant to condemn it because they didn't want to make all those people homeless. I'm not sure what their position is. I'm not going to make a referral. I did the last time. But you and your landlord need to agree on a lease. This case is dismissed. That doesn't mean they couldn't sue you for money damages in a different method. But right now, they're not going to be able to evict you for not paying these amounts. You don't want to get in a position where you could be evicted. So even if you don't have a lease, there is some requirement that you pay the monthly rent. So I would suggest you guys come to agreement as to the lease, and we'll wait for that certification of the park. And at this point, we won't resolve these water quality issues, but I'm sure they're still out there. As I said, there's probably the village Memory Lanes mobile home park is outside the city of Sturgis, but they actually are hooked up to Sturgis sewer. Meadow Lane in Three Rivers is in the city. The other trailer park on Erie Street is in the city. It's the ones in the country that cause problems. All right, Ms. Bauer's going to file an order to saying this matter is dismissed without prejudice for $600 unresolved, and they also lose their attorney fee, and costs. So we may not be done with this, but as far as the termination action, it is dismissed. So thank you all. And I'm sure Mr. Cromendike, maybe we'll have cases in the future. We'll try to get to the bottom of these issues. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
She just needs an Italian sausage and a corn dog, and that would fix her right up. Yesterday we had a guy with no shirt. Let's hope everybody today's got a shirt.
Yeah. Right here. And have a seat.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
Jared Lee Barker.
All right, Mr. Barker, let me get your file. Mr. Barker, I'm not trying to be unkind, but you look like you've lost a lot of weight since I saw you last time. Are you okay?
Actually, yes, I take a Trulicity shot. I've been taking it for a long time.
Okay, well, I don't need to get into your medical history. I just wanted to make sure you weren't ill. Anyway, this is Judge Middleton, and this is called a jail arraignment where you get your bond set and I notify you of the charges.
Yes, sir.
Also present with us is the distinguished Mr. Keith Stickley of the St. Joseph County Public Defender Office and Chief Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Joshua Robert. Mr. Barker, they charged you with 2 counts of resisting and obstructing a police officer and domestic violence. It's alleged that yesterday, September 18th, that you resisted or opposed Michael Candolph of the Three Rivers Police Department and Matthew Britton. Resisting and obstructing is a misdemeanor. It used to be a high court misdemeanor. It's now a felony, punishable by up to 2 years in imprisonment and a fine of up to $2,000. You're also charged with a domestic assault upon your spouse, Melissa K. Baker. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. The first thing I'm going to do is show that you plead not guilty. And appoint a lawyer for you.
Yes, sir.
You can hire a lawyer of your own choosing, but I want to make sure that you have one. Appoint an attorney. I'm going to set a pre-exam conference for September 30th at 8:30. If we need a preliminary examination, it'll be October 7th. That's a Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Now, I have to set your bond. There's a deja vu all over again feeling about this because you did a domestic violence probation in 2025. I think you were on probation to Daniel. You were convicted of assaulting your wife, Melissa Barker, the same complainant in this case. In that case, you were drunk. 0.133 was your blood alcohol at booking. I don't know what it is at this booking. It seems like it was 0. But let me ask you a question.
Since that, I'm sorry.
All
I
right,
have a drink since that incident. I have not.
Hang on just a second.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Are you employed?
I'm on Social Security and I do some odd jobs.
Not drinking probably also had something to do with your weight reduction.
Yes, sir.
If I do give you a bond, I'm going to order you not have any contact with Melissa Barker. Where will you go if I let you out of jail?
I have friends, family, relatives that I can go stay with. It's not a problem at all.
Where are they?
In Three Rivers.
Mr. O'Bear, you have any input regarding bond?
No, you already said the most important thing to us is that no contact provision with the victim in this case.
Mr. Stickley?
We just asked that Bobby set fairly and accurately. Hopefully, little on the lower side. And integration with community corrections is sitting in here. Would probably be somewhat helpful as well.
I think so. All right, I'm not going to set a PR bond because you just got off probation for domestic assault. And you fought with the officers. You're not big enough to take me to jail. You had to be physically picked up and placed in the back of the patrol car. I guess it was.
Your Honor,
Don't say any more about that. Not at this point.
Don't make any statements.
I'm going to set the bond at $2,500 cash or surety. You are to personally appear for any and all court hearings, abide by any judgment entered by this court, and serve any sentence imposed. You're not to leave the state of Michigan. Do not commit any crime when released. You shall provide information and telephone number upon release, and you must contact the Office of Community Corrections by telephone, and the number's on the order the very next day if you get out. And I want electronic monitoring supervision. Do not harass, intimidate, molest, or threaten the complainant, Melissa Barker. Do not have any contact with Melissa Barker. I don't like this order. It doesn't say no contact. You can't go back to your house. You can send an agent to get your clothes. 1125 Millard Court. This is a new order from SCAO. We just started using. All right, you have a pre-exam conference set for September 30th at 8:30. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Because you have a previous conviction for domestic assault and because you resisted and obstructed the police officers, I'm unwilling to set a PR bond. I set the amount of $2,500 with no contact or harassing, assaulting, or intimidating behavior on Melissa Barker. You're not to go to the address at 1125 Millard Court. And you must contact Community Corrections upon your release to set up monitoring supervision pending the preliminary examination. If you do bond out, you need to do those things. You need to contact your lawyer. If you don't bond out, your lawyer is going to come see you at the jail.
So,
all right, Mr. Barker.
Okay.
You're good to go.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I liked our bond order better than this one. There's not a condition as he shall not use or possess a firearm. Oh, there it is. Good afternoon, sir. Are you Arian Fisk?
Oh, my name is Christopher Marshall.
Oh, I got the wrong guy. Are you Christopher David Marshall?
That is me.
All right. I'm Judge Middleton. I'm going to do your arraignment here because I'm all we got.
All right.
Mr. Marshall, you got charged with possession of methamphetamine which is a felony punishable by up to 10 years imprisonment, fine of up to $15,000. I think they may amend that as we go further. You're charged with carrying a concealed weapon, which is a felony punishable by up to 5 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $2,500. And you had a pistol in your possession while you possessed methamphetamine, which is violation of the felony firearms statute, which requires a 2-year prison sentence, flat and preceding any other sentence. Also have a hold on from Kalamazoo and a hold on from Calhoun County. Are you on probation or parole?
I believe I'm on probation out of Kalamazoo County.
Okay.
I have had a hard time making it to probation. I was working on getting this brake job done, which is the only reason I was driving that truck yesterday anyways. I was about a half mile from my destination. Otherwise, I would have never been on the road at all. The truck didn't belong to me. Like I said, I was just trying to get there to do this brake job.
All right. Well, the truck's got a nice loaded gun with a round in the chamber and a bunch of bullets, and we'll have to sort all that out. What are you on probation in Kalamazoo for?
It was a domestic violence that I pled guilty to, but I pled guilty thinking they were going to give me my sentencing that same day. I was working at Parker Hannafin, and they pushed out my sentencing date 3 weeks, which ended up causing me to lose the job where I was trying to keep the job, which is why I pled guilty to my first court date anyways. Anyways, they ended up sentencing me for domestic, like pled guilty to.
Do you know why you're wanted in Calhoun County?
Yes, that is it's just for child support. It wasn't advised and released the last time I knew.
All right. Well, I'm going to show you plead not guilty. Going to appoint an attorney. I'm going to set a pre-exam conference for September 30th. I'm going to say this in my sleep tonight at 8:30. I'm going to set a preliminary examination if needed for 10/7/25 at 1. The facts here, the most aggravating is the gun and this large amount of ammunition. The gun's got a round in the chamber.
Sir, I should have checked the truck, and I apologize, and I did not check the truck.
Well, all right, you don't need to. I had another guy yesterday. He said it was his mom's gun. They can simply fingerprint the gun and the bullets and see whether your prints are on it, but I don't know if they're ambitious to do that. But Mr. O'Bear, you have any input regarding the bond?
From what I can see, the defendant does not have a significant felony criminal history. I don't see any prior felony convictions. But as you've recited, he has stuff going on in multiple counties. Anytime drugs and a gun, ammunition are involved, it's not a good situation. So I ask the court to set an appropriate bond.
Have a good weekend, guys. Thanks.
Mr. Stickley?
So he's asking for a reasonable and low bond. You know, it's one of those situations that I would hope that community corrections could provide enough overview so that he would be not a threat to the community and would definitely show up.
Well, he lives in Kalamazoo County. appears they have failed to appear for sentencing there. He's got holds on him from 2 separate jurisdictions. He doesn't have any previous felony convictions, but I'm going to set the bond in the amount of $5,000 cash or surety. He must personally appear for every examination or any other hearing scheduled in this matter, including the pre-exam conference. You're to abide by the judgment entered in this case and surrender to serve any sentence. You're not to leave the state of Michigan, not to commit any crime while you're on release. You're to provide your email, telephone number, and address immediately upon your release to the court. You're to make reports to the court agency as specified, although I'm not going to do a community corrections referral. You're not to use any alcohol or any controlled substance while you're on this bond. You're not to use or possess any firearms. No assaultive, harassing, or threatening behavior toward any person. All right. Your hearing is September 30th at 8:30. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you. If you do post bond, you need to contact your attorney and notify the court of your address. If you don't post bond, your attorney's going to come out and see you. Well, the problem is if you do post bond, you're going to get taken to Kalamazoo, then you're going to get taken to Coldwater or to Battle Creek, then we're going to lose track of you. But right now,
they're not going to come get me.
So if you post bond, Kalamazoo's going to come get you. And then we'll have to chase you down. Anyway, you're good to go with the officer. All right. We're all running low on fuel at Friday at 3 o'clock.
Is the Midway calling your name?
No, Midway Airport perhaps, but not. Maybe tomorrow. I can't be blamed because the last two parties are similar in appearance. Plus, I've seen on a video screen, I thought that was Mr. Fisk. Good afternoon, sir. Are you Arian James Fisk?
Yes, sir.
This is Judge Middleton. We've met. I'm here today to do your jail arraignment, set your bond, and get the matter scheduled for a hearing. Also with us is the Chief Public Defender, Mr. Keith Stickley, and the Chief Assistant Prosecuting Attorney, Joshua Robert. Mr. Fisk, apparently you got into it last night. You're charged with attempted carjacking. The way this is charged, they allege that you attempted to carjack somebody but failed in the execution thereof. You're trying to steal a guy's Mercedes convertible, allegedly. And that's a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison. And we're to collect DNA samples. You're also charged with malicious destruction of fire or police property for kicking the patrol vehicle on your way to jail. That's a felony punishable by up to 4 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $5,000. You're also charged with assault battery for allegedly punching the guy that owned the car in the face, Mr. Sloman. He had a very bloody face. and you're charged with being a third habitual offender, making this punishable by up to 15 years imprisonment. I'm going to show you're pleading not guilty. I'm going to appoint an attorney. I'm going to set the pre-exam conference for September 30th at 8:30 and a preliminary if needed for October 7th at 1. You're presently on bond on a circuit court case, possession of methamphetamine, which our file number was 2534. The circuit court file number is 2525608AH. That's theoretically set for a jury trial on October 14th.
So every court date too, Your Honor, and I've been on bond for almost a year.
Judge Pattison just gave you 93 days in jail for a domestic violence case last September. Another domestic violence case got dismissed. You had another possession of methamphetamine, 231856. I think it might have gotten dismissed as part of the other file. You went to prison in 2014 for maintaining a meth laboratory. We don't see that much anymore. So you have a conviction for methamphetamine. You're on probation for methamphetamine, on bond, excuse me, pending a trial. And I fear it's in the background here. This is a serious case. The guy got punched in the face, allegedly trying to steal his Mercedes. Then you were out of control with the police. And you got a jury trial set in about a month. Mr. O'Bear, what's your, all right, just a minute. Mr. O'Bear, what's your position regarding the bond?
Our office would advocate for a very high bond in this case. In addition to what the court has already said, the defendant was also pressing for a PPO violation hearing on 9/5 of this month. She pled guilty to violating the PPO and was given jail time on that case. So he must have just recently gotten out of jail for the PPO violation. So to me, that says he has no respect for court orders, no respect for the bond conditions in his open felony case. He's a violent individual, as indicated by needing the PPO, by his history, by his actions in this case. So I believe for the protection of the community, there should be a high bond or no bond. And if he is out, there needs to be conditions placed on him by community corrections.
Thank you. Mr. Stickley?
So can you repeat that one more time, Your Honor, in regards to the bond? He's still on bond with the circuit court?
He's on bond pending a jury trial in the circuit court on a charge of possession of methamphetamine.
I would simply ask that a bond be set. Obviously, he's probably got bigger fish to fry, and I would imagine this could potentially trigger a bond violation at circuit courts.
Yes, I don't think I need community correction supervision because I'm going to set the bond at $250,000 cash or surety. Mr. Fisk, I'm protecting you from yourself.
Your Honor, I have no recollection of none of this happening. I didn't even know what the hell I woke up and I didn't know I was in jail. I didn't know.
Well, that's scary too. That's very scary. For the protection of the public. So I'm going to hold on. Like I said, I'm going to
hang on.
Hold on.
Hang on.
All right, you need to appear for any hearing, including your pre-exam conference on September 30th. You shall abide by any order of this court and surrender if any sentence is imposed. You're not to leave the state of Michigan. Do not commit any crime.
$250,000, man. I don't have $250,000. How am I going to leave the state of Michigan?
That's why I said it so high. I don't want you to leave the state of Michigan or go out when you don't know what's going on and get in more trouble. Do not use drugs or alcohol if you do post the bond. Not to use or possess any firearm or engage in assaultive behavior against any person. I'm not going to order community correction supervision because it's unlikely you're going to post that bond. This may alter things. Your pre-exam conference is September 30th. Your jury trial set for October 14th. That may be something they may try to work on a comprehensive package. I don't know. But in the time being, Mr. Fisk, you're where you need to be because you need some clean time and you need to get yourself together. All right, you're good to go. I don't know what he was saying, but I didn't want to implicate himself any further, and he's right where he needs to be. I believe all I have left is a waiver of extradition. Josh, I don't know if you care to stick around for that. Mr. Musselman was dismissed or not authorized.
Have a good weekend, Judge.
Thank you. He had another one that was not authorized a little earlier this year, so he's on a roll. Thank you both. You also have a good time off. He's probably not going to Indiana. Up from Indiana, down from Tennessee. Everything is good as can be in a peaceful world.
Your Honor.
I need Miss Vanden Bosch.
Okay, right away.
Actually, this is the one I wanted to do first. I probably should have tried to do this morning so she could get out of our jail. But there was no time to do it. Good afternoon. Are you Faye Ann Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
I believe we met in the past. I'm Judge Middleton. I also had Mr. Keith Stickley with me, but he's left, I think. You're wanted in the state of Indiana in LaGrange County. It's alleged that you failed to appear in LaGrange County on a charge of operating while intoxicated, level 6 felony. They issued a warrant for you back in 2020. It's now 2026. You've been in our court since then. It's my understanding that you're willing to waive extradition and go back to Indiana to address that charge. Is that correct?
Yes, I was actually sentenced on that charge. I didn't finish my probation.
This might be some sort of probation violation or something, but it says you failed to appear for a hearing. Well, let me read you the waiver of extradition language. I, Faye Ann Vanden Bosch, am the person wanted by LaGrange County, Indiana, on a pending warrant on failing to appear on a charge at a court hearing stemming from a level 6 felony operating while intoxicated. I waive the issuance and service of a Michigan governor's warrant and all other procedures incidental to extradition proceedings, including the right to an attorney unless I've already retained one. I voluntarily return to the demanding state in the custody of an agent of that state. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes.
I wanted to do this earlier today to perhaps let you get back to LaGrange now, but we didn't get to it till almost 3:30. Where do you live?
Sturgis.
I've seen you here since 2000. Oh, maybe not. You got extradited back in 2020, I think, originally. And then it's been several years and they want to extradite you again. So this warrant's been out for a long time and you haven't come to our attention, but they will contact the LaGrange County Sheriff and maybe they'll come get you this weekend. They set no bond on this, I guess. Once you get to LaGrange, perhaps you can post a bond and get back to it. But for the time being, I will send this to the sheriff and they can start to process your extradition waiver. Do you have any questions?
Well, I'm supposed to be on medication for my heart and seizures, and I haven't been able to even see the nurse.
Well, they may then move you to LaGrange even sooner than later. Maybe they'll do it this afternoon. All right, you're good to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I was our sheriff, I'd put her in a car and drive her down there, but it's not very far. All right, that was a long and thoroughly satisfying week. I have about 4,000 more gray hairs. We'll be back Monday with a full civil docket, sentences at 11, landlord tenant in the afternoon, another busy week next week. Thank you all.
Well, kids, you know, been another Saturday. Been doing another day full of those things. And yeah. Let me see if I can correctly. Going on. Hi. All right. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your lone wolf Usul. I've been here to present you a week full of Judge Middleton, and that's what I've done. I hope you've enjoyed it. I thought this week has been crazy for him. I wanted to do a lot of what you saw during the week at the 8 p.m. daily docket review, but for reasons I just couldn't get the Blackboard kicking, so I just decided, heck, we're doing Blackboard live all day Saturday. I have other long cases to show, but you know, this is the Saturday show, and I wanted to do something kind of special with, you know, the Blackboard live and having fun with all that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for giving me ideas for Blackboard. That was Chalky is fun. I love it, and I love all of you. I thank you very much for hanging out. I have to say thank you to all of the people who let's just all look at it together, right? All of these people right here. All you crazy, lovely folks, Mantlemaker, Barry Adams, Zach, Ken, Virginia, 4 times over. What can I say? What can I say? Thank you. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you all. I needed the snacks. The puppies needed the snacks. Look, we'll have to check for proof of life after the show. He's been busy. He's had me up and down during the show. It's been fun. I'm telling you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your lone wolf Usul. I am here to present court cases for you throughout the week, every day of the week. Keep an eye out on the channel. Come by and hang out with us every weeknight around 8 p.m. Central Time. It's 9 p.m. Eastern. We do a live chat and we watch dockets of the day every day. I'll be here if you're here. I'll probably be here if you're not here. Ladies and gentlemen, for me, Mama Wolfie, the whole little wolf pack, thank you very much for hanging out with us. See you next time. I am your lone wolf Usul, and I am out. Thank you, Kat and Virginia. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Katie. Katie, where's Brecken? It's Brecken's fault. It's all Brecken's fault. All of it. Actually, none of this is Brecken's fault today. I have to admit. Just how things go. You know. I'm looking there. The show's over. I don't want to go away, but I don't have much choice in the matter. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your lone wolf, and I am out. Y'all have a good day. Bye.